Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Reus 2, where today we are completing our tiny, cute, adorable, insect-covered world. It's just crawling with bugs. The insects are not. Bugs and insect, those two words don't mean the same thing, but you know what I mean and you know where I'm going. Now, we have to reach 600 overall prosperity while having at least 14 of the slots on our tiny little planet devoted to critters in order to hit the 3 stars here. And I'm pretty strongly in favor of doing that. So this is going to be a challenge. The romantic invited a cultural exchange from the poet to celebrate their relationship. Hooray. More free stuff. Okay. In this case, the Critter Sanctuary, I think, is going to be quite hard to beat. 300 science for each distinct critter bioticum within borders. Is 1,200 already. The Butterfly Garden giving us 4 extra microcharges, I suppose, is worth thinking about. It's at 75 now. Or it's at 750 now, so it is lower than the Critter Sanctuary now. The Critter Sanctuary is not going to scale upward that much, though. A lot of our current draft charges are spoken for. This is a lot of science, though, friends. I'm gonna take the Critter Sanctuary. I think that's the way to go here, but the 4 microcharges is certainly compelling. And obviously that's going to push us a significant portion of the way toward 40 technology. And by a significant portion of the way toward, I mean just screaming past. Let me go ahead and just burn our drafts here, because we know this is happening. So let's just get that over with. And then receive our first real draft charge in quite some time. We definitely need to make sure that we cap everybody out and get the 30 extra prosperity from completing these level 4 city requests if we're going to make it to the 600. No, that almost got level 2 of... Oh, that did get level 2 of this completed. Okay. Huge planet finished. Kind planet. More important. Not quite there yet. Working on it. So you're also allowed to build a Critter Sanctuary. However, we don't necessarily have to. And, there are other interesting options. 7 food for each mystery in the bioticum within borders that has the highest mystery. Or plus 1.2 for each point of food in a high military... See, this is actually kind of interesting because we are going to want to play this rhinoceros. Or actually, this elephant. Yeah, because this is only going to level up for sets. No, we definitely want to play the elephant. So, this is going to be... This is going to be a very, very large amount of food. Alright, let me pull this back over here. I think we are upgrading this. And then you want an herbivore bioticum. So we're just gonna replace this gazelle with an elephant. And we're gonna see how the numbers work out. Actually, we don't quite have the biodiversity. Well, I'm going to do this anyway. Let's just do it. And then I'll worry about that problem. We do want to put down a giraffe somewhere. And, higher level creatures do produce... And he's going to produce an extra point of biodiversity anyway. He just needs to be adjacent to a tree. Do we have a tree? I literally do not have a tree for this giraffe. Okay, that's a little problematic. Uh, well, I think I might spend a draft on trying to remedy that. So we don't see any trees here. The Titan Graveyard gets bonuses for scavengers, which we've not really built toward. The Sapphire is certainly capable of producing a really large amount of value, but I think I'm going to spend a reroll here, digging for a tree. The Shade Tree, 2 biodiversity, 60 science, tagged monkey and critter, if adjacent to at least 2 plant biotica that have a food base. Boy, a tree that is tagged critter for sure has some utility to us. Also, rat. Rat, which is playable in the forest and the taiga, and is just like generally a great, very easy to satisfy little creature. And then this palladium, which is just a huge amount of total resources. I am inclined to take the palladium draft. Okay. Now, unfortunately, if we're going to score this shade tree, we're going to have to redesign some things. Right? Because... So I don't think I would actually be putting the giraffe over here then. I want to play all my super high value stuff. It's just, you know, biodiversity's a bitch, right? Speaking of biodiversity being a bitch, let's murder my biodiversity a little bit. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put down the African wild dog here. Just to really increase the value of this patch. And then I am going to use an upgrade slot over top of this. And we might be upgrading... We might be upgrading the other slot here too. I'm trying to think, like, how do I want to set this up? So we want to be able to put down a shade tree. It needs to have 2 adjacent plant biotica with food bases. And then we put the giraffe down adjacent to that. So you would like to be next to a mineral. You would like, we could do like an agusi and an okra. We don't have an okra anywhere, so I mean, like, there's the version of this where we go, you know, okra and agusi down here. The agusi will be turned on by being in a row with... Actually, we have a very low number of plants overall, huh? So we actually might not have this turned on no matter how we play it. Maybe I should upgrade over this thing too, and give myself the ability to put down... Yeah, the yam is going to get like crazy paid off of the shade tree. It needs... Yeah, that's really good. That's like really good. So the shade tree goes here. 2 food plants go there. The giraffe goes there. And that's going to create some biodiversity for sure. It's also going to kind of like rewire a lot of my stuff. But it's fine. We'll figure it out. Okay, I mean, I can reverse it. This can be the giraffe. This can be the shade tree. Or, yeah, and then these can be the food generating plants. That's fine. That works just fine. This is why we do all the upgrading before we commit any of the biotica. Right, so you want to be next to the tree. And we're going to produce quite a large amount of biodiversity here, which will allow us to play cool stuff on the other side of the town. You just want to be next to a plant that's producing science. You don't really care about basically anything. And it's worth noting, we're playing unique undergrowths here, so we are generating additional free micros. This gets us up to 3 plants within border. I don't really want to have 3 minerals within borders, but we can figure it out. These rabbits are not necessary. Alright, so the yam's totally maxed out, right? Yeah. And we have 15 biodiversity with which to just play huge animals. Okay, so obviously playing the rhino and the elephant is not going to give us much room for a leopard, but I guess we'll survive without it somehow. So if we go... It doesn't matter what the elephant's adjacent to, and it doesn't really matter what the rhino's adjacent to either. So that leaves a slot here for the palladium, which I wasn't gonna put here. I was gonna put the palladium, I was gonna try to put the palladium in the other city. I don't know that we're gonna have them actually... Yeah, I don't know that we're gonna have the biodiversity for all of that, because we're going to spend 12 points on this stuff. We're going to get some back from them. They do generate their own biodiversity as well, but it's not like... And you would like to be adjacent to 2 plants. So I guess technically I should put the rhino here and the elephant there, so that with the agusi we can still potentially... Yeah. Alright, so I do need to upgrade this patch. I'm trying real hard to get you to 120 prosperity. Trying real hard. Okay, so that becomes a gold generating space, which is actually a fine space to put a rhino on. So, zebra. Rhino. And elephant. So where does this put us at? The elephant's at 670. The rhino's at 420. So to go for military base, we'd be triggering that 640. We'd be generating 1.2 food 640 times against 600 points of science in the critter sanctuary, which might get boosted. We might be able to get that up to 900. Or like 700 food from the cafe. I think the military base ends up being the winner, right? It's a shame it's all like... It's all food, but whatever. That is definitely going to push us up over the top of the 120 prosperity. Now the only problem is we need more minerals. So just to accomplish that, just to make it good... We're going to put down an amethyst here, because we no longer have an amethyst. And then we're going to go replace that rabbit with a gem that we don't care about. And we probably will end up turning this rabbit right back in, but we need to have 3 minerals for a second here to complete this. Yeah, so make this a tin for a second. Okay, capital of poetry complete. Lock in all that sweet, sweet prosperity. and a draft charge that we can actually use. Alright, and now the City of Romance. We need to get... Okay, so 2 of our stats are already above 22, so actually all we have to do is gain tech here. And we have some space to do it in. We have some open slots. It feels to me like this is probably a critter sanctuary because we are going to have to gain critters. And this, it feels like this is the place to do it. Plus, we just need a very large amount of science for this city. So critter sanctuary is a really good fit. The romantic has invented cool pets. Having cool pets. Okay. All right, so we got all of our level 4 projects complete very, very quickly and easily. That's rad. Get another invention or 2 out of this. But I think we should do some more drafting, probably. What was the... We have a high-level plant, obviously, that we do want to play. So it gets bonuses for each distinct flower and harmony bioticum. It also does have a toxic tag, so, you know, it might work us toward this a little bit. Ooh, an amazing roast produced from that boar. Pretty cool. And we have a ton of biodiversity here. So you also get benefits from... Yeah, and you're an undergrowth yourself, and you're a microhaven. Oh yeah, this thing having automatically doubled output because it's a microhaven is pretty fantastic. The biggest problem here is I don't think... So we have a flower there. But that's probably the only one, right? Yeah, you're just an undergrowth and a fruit. Words I've heard too many times. Yeah, so we're not actually applying a ton of the benefits of this. And again, we do need to place a bunch of critters still. Although, obviously, we are strongly incentivized to do so. Let me take a forest draft. It would be great to get some 3-star level critters to place. Are you a critter? You are not. So we have no critters from this draft. But we do have some pretty cool stuff overall. Pandas get bonus payout from bamboo. They are a harmony. They produce extra food and wealth based on the things harmonies care about. And they double the value of other harmonies. And all that shit is cool, but none of it is critters. And I do feel like I have to, you know, I must insist. I don't know if there's another, like, critter-focused thing to draft, though. And I might be turning down something that's really good without much reason. We already have bamboo available. This city is not doing great on perfect balance type stuff. Big mystery. If adjacent to 2 different bioticum types. Unfortunately... Oh, no. Sorry, mystery is really good for her. Part of me wants to reroll. The maple tree is fantastic in a lot of cases. I don't think it would actually be very good for us. Part of me wants to reroll, but I'm a little bit afraid that I'm going to throw away my panda bear and not find anything better. What we can do here is we can pop into the collection real quick. Have a look at the forest biotica with the critter tag and see what's available to us at the top level. Okay. The marmot. Unlock 3 random cohort critter biotica of 1 star which permanently have their tags doubled. What a weird little dude. And then there's the Mandarin duck, which is a critter that can get a second critter tag under certain circumstances. But neither of these are like amazing. So it is probably the case that we're not going to find a more critterful draft. Ooh. That said, there is a pretty fun sable available for the taiga. Also, the Canada goose is considered a critter. We would be getting its bonus. Our taiga is adjacent to both a savanna and a forest. But also, Canada goose. I don't know, y'all. So, okay, I think I'm not going to spend the reroll. I think we're just going to go ahead and take the panda bear. Then we're going to draft taiga. And we're going to see if we can't get that sable. I am pretty confident that I want to try to reroll into the sable. Okay. I think it would be a bad idea to not take this. So all the critters get plus 20 for each distinct critter in the biome. Plus this guy gets 25 gold for each of those critters. And it unlocks for us 3 additional critters, although one of them we had already. And it gives us the duck that we can use in this biome if we want to. Now, one thing that I'm not sure of is whether the duck will count as 2 critters for our counter if it has 2 critter tags. But the other thing I'm sure of is that I would love to play a panda bear. That just seems like such a fun idea to have a panda bear. Now, it would love to have bamboo. I don't know how feasible that is, my friend. This pangolin really wants to have a plant nearby. This palace cat's not doing much for us, aside from being an animal. So I'm going to throw an upgrade charge down here. This is where I'm planning to build my panda. Build a panda. Sometimes in life, you have to construct a panda. We probably want to give it its bamboo if we can. And I think we can. If we place them here and here, then we still have a mineral and an animal, the panda, for the pangolin. Seems like a plan. Now we are going to have to generate some biodiversity, as ever. But I don't think we want to make another... a lot of our remaining Eon is going to go toward remodeling that taiga, I think. So I'm not too stressed about what we end up doing over here. Science booster. I mean, we don't have a good way of taking advantage of that. Yeah, that's a well, that could be where we put the foxglove, and we could decide to do this a little bit differently. Because this does produce quite a lot of science. And this will max our pangolin back out. Yeah, that has 600 science on it. Like that's a fair amount of prosperity. And then we just have a level 3 slot that I don't know what to do with. Are you undergrowth? You are undergrowth. So, Mandarin duck. Is it 2 critters? No. It's counting the number of biotica that are critters, not the number of critter tags. That's what I expected. But it's still good, and it's still extra science because, again, critter sanctuary. Pretty good overall. Hard to be upset about. Do I still want to try to play a panda is the question. We got to get to 12. It's not wholly impossible. You would like to be next to 2 plants, and I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry to tell you. But we could put like a bamboo here. And maybe turn this into a forest tile. And put out another bamboo. And then maybe I can get to 12. Maybe I can make it happen. Would I be better off just playing more critters? Perhaps. I do still have rat and red panda. Red panda's not a critter. So I do still have rat available. But remember, improving the resources that are not the top resource is a faster route to prosperity. And I think we're going to be able to hit 14 critters by adding critters to the taiga. So I think we're on track here for doing this. So I would just need to have 2 more points of biodiversity. We've done a pretty good job biodiversity-wise overall. You know what I should do? This palace cat's not really accomplishing very much being a palace cat. I should replace it with a rat, because the rat has a point of bonus biodiversity, and its yield is much, much higher because it's a critter. And so it, triggers another 300 science. It also, obviously it gets this, which is cool. Oh yeah, increasing the number of things we have that have base food yields, right? The boar loves that shit. Okay, so that puts us at 11. All we have to do now... Oh shoot, I'm being silly. I have to upgrade this slot. Let me just do that. When it took a second for the 3 to show up, I was really hoping it meant we were gonna get a booster there. If I put down the sunflower, we're not gonna get flower field from it. The yield's not gonna be great overall, but it is gonna throw a 20% modifier onto... It's gonna add 20% to the 200, so it's gonna actually give us 20% on about 200 total, 200 base science, or base plus bonus rather. So it's like 40 science in addition to what it says its yield is. That's probably not better than a bamboo in terms of the increase to the value of the panda. But what I was about to say is, the bamboo obviously has a biodiversity generation mechanic, but that requires more placements. What we can do here actually is just put down anything we don't yet have a copy of. The sunflower actually is a fine temporary example. And now that we have over 12 biodiversity, replacing it will just replace its biodiversity with the biodiversity of the panda, which will turn out to be brilliant and good. And think of all of the resources it will generate. Okay, yeah, it said no output negative biodiversity, but that was only true till its biodiversity got added. So yeah, it's outputting like 900 points of resources spread evenly across our 2 lowest stats. It's pretty good, I think. Also, we're still cashing in science from critters and whatnot. Okay, so we're at 511 prosperity. That's still... It's a ways to go, y'all. We can gain another plus 50% by putting a bamboo here. But yeah, by turning this to forest and putting a bamboo down there, and I probably should. So we're on 3 in biome. So we have exactly 3 minerals. So that's preventing us from gaining another perfect balance. you, we're going to forest this bit up, if you wouldn't mind. We'll put down an extra bamboo. And then the bamboo does get a bonus if we put down another plant. If we put down a mineral, because we definitely have 4 animals and four plants, if we put down a mineral, the panda would gain plus 50, which then gets multiplied by, we have 200 plus 200. So that's pretty good overall. It's probably better than the benefit of putting down the extra bamboo or the extra plant to buff this stuff up. Although the extra plant could be a sunflower, which would generate nice, good reach. Plant could be a sunflower, which would generate some extra resources. Obviously, we'd have to spend another upgrade charge, and they're not infinite, but we do have a lot. Do we have a compelling mineral to put down? You need to be next to 3 bioticum types. That's probably not realistically happening. We do have a moss agate. We have a tin. We have a sandstone. So the level 1 thing that we don't have right now is a mossy stone. Yeah, all right. This will provide a fourth boost there, and it is itself an undergrowth, so it'll come with a micro attached, because I believe it is our only mossy stone at this point. It would be a unique mossy stone. Yes, correct. Good. All right. Perfect balance plus bonuses. That doesn't require an upgrade charge. And if it does end up making sense for us to do the flower instead, then we've got this value here to legacy when we upgrade charge. But yeah, in general, I think that's a good, strong outcome. 533 by the time this is done counting. We're getting there. All right, Timber Spot Stables. Notice we're at 7 biodiversity, so we're not getting maximum biodiversity from our coal anymore, or from our copper, which is a shame. And we're about to fuck things up even more. But we got to put down this sable. You're going to get predator bonuses. You produce biodiversity if the biome has biodiversity. You produce a ton of mystery, which is not ideal. You want to be adjacent to at least 2 critters, so I guess this would be the bear, right? Yeah. We probably won't be able to get the biodiversity together to also play a Siberian tiger, I don't think. Ptarmigan wants to be adjacent to 2 undergrowth, which could happen. Yeah, that could happen. But I think so. We want to spend an upgrade charge here so that we can put down a black bear here. The black bear is pretty good, and it's a predator, and it generates 2 extra points of ruggedness to offset the 1 point of ruggedness you lose from playing it. Not itself a critter. You are a critter. We would just replay the squirrel, I think, because we need the biodiversity. So yeah, we're getting pretty close to our intended amount of critters. And I don't know, with the relatively low number of slots I have, plus, ooh, that's a 50% all booster. Maybe that's where the sable goes then. Probably. So then we put the black bear. The black bear still goes here. which will produce the biodiversity necessary to place the sable. Alright, are you coming over? You are coming over here to grab this. Good. Sadly, because the sable is itself a critter and not a... it doesn't have any bonuses. It doesn't have microhaven. It got a kind of a low value micro applied to it for free. But yeah, it could be worse. Could be worse. Then you're not a kind of tree, sadly. So putting a squirrel down doesn't help you. I mean, like, without refiguring anything, if we just put down 2 critters here, then we get our value. We get our 14 slots. I don't think that we're going to be at 600 prosperity from doing that. Although I guess I have to remember that we are still a critter sanctuary as well. So we are getting a lot of points from this stuff. That said, we can get the full payout from the Mandarin Duck. Is this another expander? That's a trait mission, okay. Yeah, we can get the full payout from the Mandarin Duck because the bamboo is undergrowth. And then... it's not impossible we could play the tiger, actually. But what I was going to say, sorry, I think I started talking and then I stopped. I often don't find that it's worth playing stuff to Legacy, playing stuff specifically for the value of adding Legacy to a patch you're planning to upgrade already, because there are so many patches that you want to be putting stuff down on, but that's not true on this planet. And I am wondering if I'm, making an error here by not putting down effectively seed creatures that give us some kind of value for the slot. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. I'd be encoding like 25 extra points of resources per open slot. It's the tin. The tin can make it 30. Although in the case where you could like afford to drop a copper or something, it's obviously more interesting. If you have like an extra biodiversity saved up, because you can crash out your biodiversity on a thing that's temporary. Yeah, it might be worth doing that. Like temporarily replacing the copper we have with something else to reclaim the biodiversity, and then putting down a copper over here. You know what? Let's do exactly that. I'm just gonna make it a rabbit for a second. This will cost us 1 eon to do, and then 1 more eon to undo later. So it doesn't matter what this is. Okay, and then we can only afford to do that once. So after that, we get 25 value out of a blueberry. 15. Yeah, I think 25 is the most we get from any tier. Or sorry, the tin. 30 from the tin. So let's put these down. Then run the upgrade. Then go and put my copper back down over this rabbit. But then we build 2 critters over here. Is this city interested in expanding again? I think we would have to force it. Oh, okay, actually we got a border expander coming from the other side. That's fine. As long as the stuff is within somebody's territory, so we're getting the wealth. So then we just play 2 critters and it's all good. Although the Mandarin duck is not, well, I mean, whatever. It doesn't produce as much biodiversity this way. Or no, sorry, it does. The biodiversity is tracked per biome, not per city. What am I talking about? So Mandarin duck here gets us another critter. Gets us a healthy chunk of biodiversity. Powers up the sable, produces science from the critter sanctuary. It's all good value. And then we don't have access to another high tier critter, but we do still have like the rat, the noble rat. Or sorry, the money from all the payout from this Mandarin duck is going over here. This is where the science ended up. I think the science values... Whoa, that was a weird jump. Yeah, actually, she ended up with so much more science than he did. It's kind of crazy. And that's got us... That's, by the time we're done counting here, we're at 593. It's going to be hard for us to hit 722. I'll tell you that. But I think 600 is in the cards, for sure. So, we have a bunch of places where we're not really, like, optimized. We can definitely juice some of this stuff up. So, we do, in fact, have the biodiversity necessary to play the Siberian tiger. And I do think that it's a very good Siberian tiger. I also don't think we're getting a ton of payout from having this carrot around. So, I wouldn't want to remove a critter. But we have a bunch of herbivores. Oh, right. Well, the slot would have to be upgraded, though, obviously. And the stoat's going to have to be replaced with a critter. It can just be a stoat again. It's fine. And it's nice to be able to retire the stoat with the mantis in it. You get all that extra value legacied out. Okay, did we get a booster? We got a plant booster there. I don't think we're probably going to use that. Oh, did they just suddenly build... Yeah, they suddenly built a temple in Zhonghua, which is just value. I think I will just go ahead and replace the lost stoat with a new stoat. And that's going to lock in our 3rd star. Rad. We got there. It was not nearly as bad as I was afraid it might be. Lots of trade missions, lots of interesting inventions going on. A lot of good cultural exchanges. This is an interesting one. Did we end up getting output from our forbidden formula anywhere? Nope. I think we have one toxic thing here, but just the one. Ooh, glass. That's decent. Anything that gives 3 points is decent. And obviously, you prefer 3 points of real resources to 3 raw prosperity. So yeah, we have a 156 a 229, and a 208. Not bad overall. All Biotic with Microhaven are gaining 120 science. I'm assuming that's just within this city. Do we have any Microhavenable Biotica over here? It seems like it's a thing that's more common on plants than other... Boy, we ended up really animal focused. Okay, I don't think we did. Anyway, the important thing is that we got all of our stuff done. Like, do I want to try to maneuver 100 extra prosperity out of micros and stuff? I mean, we still can place this palladium. Probably beats the heck out of the redstone. Although, you have 57 tech, you have 19. If we're going to put down palladium, we should put it down here. And it should replace this amethyst. We already have the tier 3 slot set up. This is a bunch of extra value for sure. So we have 6 fires on you. We have 4 sets of plant and herbivore. That's pretty good. Alright, how much? Okay, 700 science. That's a good start. Is this thing where we want to put... we have an 1800 science plant over there. Okay. So this is where we would probably like to tuck in a dragonfly. But it is worth noting a single point of science is worth a lot less over here than a single point of science is on this side of the planet because of the much higher level of technology. Right, we're getting a tech every 62 science as opposed to, yeah, it's almost double value. So, actually, I think I am going to install it here. So I think it will result in, at the very least, a comparable amount of titanium, or a comparable amount of prosperity. Why is the military base's value changing? I'm not sure. But in any case, look at all that. I think it feels to me like some of this stuff is recalculating in weird ways that I'm not expecting. Because the highest military... this has become the highest payout. I forgot that this was a military bioticum. I totally forgot. So that's why, because the palladium became the payout bioticum of choice. Okay, it turns out that was a really good idea using using that micro there. I just totally forgot that it did that. That it had that tag. I guess I had been, in my head, I had been thinking of the military base as being animal based because all of our military stuff was animals. Okay, so that got us a lot of extra prosperity. Before we run out of resources and forget, plus 75% all yields on a plant. 50 food and tagged fruit. This would be very powerful with some Apex Biotica. The fruit linear is pretty big. Plus 20% science for each adjacent animal is pretty cool as well. But what I was going to say is let's remember terraforming. Because we do have access to some terraforming, and that might change. That might give us some extra ability to do stuff here, especially because, sorry, not expand planet, but mountain. Create rich hills. Adds 2 slots above the top row, giving you new connection options. The top slots have a permanent mineral booster. So we do have the ability to add... Oh boy. I should have added palladium to... Yeah, I should have done these in Rich Hills. I totally didn't even think about that. Well, we still could. I could overwrite these and place them in mineral boosted position. We would not get the... We would have to buy 3 microcharges to put the thing in them, but honestly, like... The value of doing so is so high. Maybe it's worth it, even though it feels like a bad use of resources. Well, we'd have to pay 10 plus... Yeah, 10 tech plus 5 of this. Yeah, I feel silly having to do this, but I do want to do it. Okay. So if we're doing that, then we could replace this with a plant, which you would like. Do we have a good plant? This is probably not a spot for a shade tree. It could just be a red oak, because like it is a level 3 slot. But yeah, we just kind of don't have anything more compelling. I feel silly. Alright, you go ahead and do your thing. Give me some Rich Hills. Does it matter where they are? Would we prefer them to be in a particular place? I don't think so. And they'll be level 3 if we put them in a spot where the patches are level 3. You would like to be next to 2 Prebiotica. I mean, listen, we all want things. I guess, okay, if I put them, not that, this. If I put the slots here, you guys are Prebiotica, as are you. So I can construct, oh wait, I had to do some work here to make this pay out. Oh, right, and this slot's not upgraded. This area's not upgraded. Okay. Does it make sense? So if we upgrade this, I mean, we have Eon. And we have things to buy Eon with, certainly. I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're going to do the upgrade. We're going to replace these 2 things with just the same things again, I think. Let's see here. You need an herbivore. If it's a critter herbivore, it does produce extra science for this city. We don't get the same level of biodiversity, though. Yeah. And also the guinea fowl doesn't actually have the prey marker on it. So you're 20 and you're 30. Yeah, I'm just going to probably reproduce this as it was. Is there a better plant we could put down than the Igusi? Well, this is the only one of those, right? I ended up removing the other one. And we do need the biodiversity. So... Okay. That activates Grazer, which is cool. Then... I need a point of biodiversity to allow me to place this animal. And I suppose the way I can get that is just by... I can replace the guinea fowl with a rat. Because we don't have a rat. Oh no, rats are not available in this biome. Okay. Then this red oat is not unique. Okay. I'm going to make it elephant grass just for a second. Because we lost our elephant grass, right? So that'll give me a point of biodiversity from it now being unique. Which will allow me to put down the palladium in a position where it gets crazy boosted. And then... Ah, shoot, that's right. I increased the cost of the dragonfly by playing it. So I need to buy more charges, actually. Okay, there we go. That's going to be good. And then the biodiversity... This ate up all our biodiversity, but it gave 3 back because it is a level 3. And that is enough biodiversity to play a cheetah, which is okay. I think it's... Is it the best use we can get out of the slot? You need to be adjacent to an element, which you are. So that's 70 gold. This would be 75. And it's a predator, so it levels up the big animal in the taiga, which cares about predators everywhere in the world, right? I've already forgotten what animal it is. What was your deal? The sable. No, not the sable. This guy. The Siberian tiger. Yeah, the gold came out of it as I was scrolling past, and I still forgot. They gave us an extra level of absolute apex. Okay, so that got us to 681. We are inventing new stuff. Is it cool stuff? Is it great stuff? We have so many good things to invent off of now. Okay, that's interesting. You do look a bit like a prick. I appreciate the the bit of shade thrown toward rhino hunters, in addition to the obvious, just the wordplay. Microelectronics, coincidentally, also full of bugs. All right, that's a 5 prosperity bonus from the palladium. Pretty fantastic. We're at 686. We needed, what, 722 in order to level up the profile? We still have a lot of resources unspent. So, another feature, the number of micro slots here is doubled when placing a micro in a sanctuary. It is placed twice, but you can't overlap the features. So it was this or the Rich Hills for the Palladium. I think we made the right call. This adds a micro slot. So it would allow me to play something else on like my other high value stuff. Yeah, if we put it down... What's your thing? Plants on both sides of this feature gain 50% on all yields and give biodiversity. Okay, so if we were to place this next to this thing, it would get a plus 50% to its, if I'm understanding this correctly, plus 50% to its base plus bonus, which is an extra 300 value, as opposed to allowing me to double place the micro, which is plus 50% plus 50%, but also plus some value that gets added. No, I think we want to do a sanctuary. So let me go buy this. I hope that this is not foolish math. I hope this is that good math. We're going to improve this patch. I'm going to buy more microcharges. Okay. So, did that... Yeah, that produced extra micro slots. And then when we put down the dragonfly, it'll put down 2 dragonflies, and it'll be totally fucking sweet. I'll tell you when it's time to conclude the planet, thank you. Okay, so that became 3,800 science. Worth it, I think. Now the question is, do we want to just buy another 6 charges and micro boost that again? Maybe? It does seem like it would be awfully valuable. What is the highest? We don't have super high single values here. We have the Siberian tiger. Remarkably though, in the science city, I did not end up building a single huge science payout thing. We're getting a lot of our science in a very distributed state, like from the critter sanctuary and stuff. So it does feel like this is the single most valuable thing to boost because it has both a very high base value and a very high multiplier. So adding Dragonfly, which is more base value and more multiplier, is so good. It's going to cost me all of that. Oh no, it's 7. Now it's 7. I ran out of ability to buy microcharges. No. I would have to generate 5 additional points of technology in order to be able to afford the microcharge. Do I think that is at all realistic? Probably not. Okay. Do we have any spots where we have like really high value plants where it would make sense to do that that river thing? Not really. Oh, over here, I can convert this back to something else. One thing we can buy is draft charges, but we're pretty tight on biodiversity in, I think, all 3 of our biomes, right? So the odds of being able to the odds of being able to reconfigure for another apex are pretty low, but we might be able to draft some, like, better base 3-star stuff than elephant grass. Although with Rich Hills, maybe we could make it happen, where we could draw some, maybe put up enough biodiversity to force a new apex somewhere. I'm going to, I think, spend some population because we're not going to spend population on either of these at all. Let's spend some population on some draft charges and oh, right, except all of our biomes are at max rank already. And it doesn't make any sense to new biomes, so never mind. There is a game mode where you can draft beyond biome rank 4. Once you've spent enough draft charges. I forgot that's not the base. That's not the rules in True Titanic. We're at 704. We're so close, and I would love to get there. But it feels to me like we are probably not going to be able to produce the amount of tech I need to get the other point. That is a real shame. Okay, so if we can't benefit, we could benefit from buying Eon, but we don't really, I don't think we have a lot of things to place with Eon. The Foxglove does have 3 animals around it. So buying access to the Emperor Butterfly is not terrible if I don't think we're gonna get to the Dragonfly bonus, and I don't think we are. Let's go ahead and buy the Emperor Butterfly. So close this and reopen it. We'll Emperor Butterfly the other slot. What a good plant this has become. Okay, 4,400. Pretty solid. Then we should probably place some value multipliers on some other stuff. So we still have, like, what's our best mineral? I mean, obviously our best mineral is already pretty paid out. Our best mineral after that is the copper, I think. It's not like awesome. This would be plus 40. This would be plus 40. If we did designate some things as predators, that would get us extra payout from the Siberian tiger. Yeah, an extra 20% on 425 value, in addition to the 50 resources. So I guess that's kind of interesting. Like, what's an animal that we could still tag? We could also do... Yeah, the bullfrogs aren't actually going to be very good here. So what do I have? I have 2 points left, or two 2-point placements left, if that's the way I want to think about it. So this is only going to be like 40 science in the best case where we can apply it. So I am better off using the assassin bug. Let's just, like, you're going to be an extremely predatory gazelle. Right, did that not... Okay, no, it just takes a second. It takes a second for that thing the creature to catch up. Oh, right, and then that's also one that increases in cost over time, because nothing can just be simple and good. Well... Yeah, it's frustrating that we're, like, really close. We didn't end up pulling any really interesting extras here. We can buy Eon. And we can use that Eon for stuff. Things, even, if we're feeling gutsy about it. Like... Okay, if I buy another one of these, let's go ahead and set up some rough hills here. Rich hills. I don't know that it matters terribly where I put them at this moment. We'll do it here. Oh, I guess, actually, it makes more sense to do them... Well, so we have some extras. It makes more sense to do them where the slots are already level 3. Right? That's just better. Interesting. An animal booster applied over top. I was gonna put a cougar there because, like, on her side of the line, the mystery is actually good. Oh right, sorry. we had to generate 11 more prosperity to be able to level up our profile here, and I do want it. I want it pretty badly. So that's producing some additional boost. Not that we're going to be able to play another Apex here. It is a shame I can't draft again, honestly. We can put down another copper. But putting down another copper is worse than just playing a critter. Yeah. Plus, you know, critters are critters. They're adorable and we love them. Yeah, so we don't have a ptarmigan. It's not going to get its bonus, but it's still just going to be 15 raw. Yeah, and because it's the first ptarmigan, it gives us more biodiversity than a rat would. And I think we're maxing out Critter Crown here. I think we are now at all of our critters have been played. Did I ever replace the squirrel? I didn't. Okay. So never mind what I just said about all of our critters have been played. We can... Let me... Yeah. Let me put down a squirrel in place of the red-backed vole. By the way, we did pass our goal here, but at this point I want to make some final little changes. Squirrel in place of the red-backed vole, then put the red-backed vole back in place over here in one of these extra level 1 slots that we have. And then... Do I have a rabbit? I totally don't. Also, there's a rabbit over here. Also, there's a rabbit over here. Okay, now I think we're capping out Critter Crown. As well as, you know, generating quite a lot of Critter Sanctuary points. It's getting pretty good. What's the sable itself worth now at this point? The biggest problem with the sable is that its value is quite distributed over all of the other animals, and so you can't just like slap a single thing onto it to get value. And then of course, as we've been placing stuff, it's been getting micros because these are the first critters of their type. I think I might just take the 759 and walk. We could probably keep trying to juice this up, and obviously there are some places where there are cool boosts available. But you know, we got the thing we were looking for, so I think let's just bounce. The Emperor Butterfly is pretty good here. Do I want to put down a sanctuary first? This will be the last micro we can place. Yeah, we may as well. You're the one who does that, right? You do the other thing, which I think I'm valuing less than this. I don't know if that's right, but I think that's what I'm doing. I don't know why I called like, either one of them could have placed this. I didn't need the plant giant to come over. It felt like a planty interaction. It's pretty good. We absolutely would have gotten to 60 if I had been patient enough, I guess. That's a little bit of a shame. The romantic is inventing yet another thing. They also invented fruit pie from the blueberries. Not amazing. Fur coats. You know, there's a lot of stuff here. Not all of it's slam dunk winners. What else we got? What's our final luxury before we retire the world? Also, what do your emblems do? All biotica with 2 or more base yields. Ah, this is where that mystery is coming from. You invented fried chicken. Yes. What an odd thing to say. But okay, 767. You know what? I'll take that. That seems like an acceptable world score. There's definitely more to wring out of that, but this will be good enough for unlocking future content. And we did indeed hit all of our 3 stars, so we will get maximum pack rewards here. Oh yeah, I always forget with this little bonus at the end. I mean, part of the problem is I don't know how this is calculated. So 3 distinct biomes with at least 12 biodiversity. Yeah. Without knowing how this is calculated, you can't necessarily rely on it, right? Okay, so oh right, you get like crazy pack rewards when you're doing new stuff. I did not remember that. I wonder how many packs we have to gain. Alright, what's this? It's pineapple. All fruit biotica gain plus 20. Okay, so this is like a sable but for fruits. And this itself gets plus 25 for each distinct plant in the biome. Or, yeah, just plants. Comes with grapefruit and jackfruit, which can be tagged ugly. That's interesting. Also, key deer, an amphibious deer. That's wild that you could just play that in the water. Okay. Alexandrite. So it gains gold for sets of mineral and reptile. And all reptiles in this biome gain 2 mystery for each mineral in the biome. Unlocks with the terrapin and jet, which is very good, and the king snake, which we are big fans of from the past here. Now see, this is interesting. Why is this showing next to the pineapple? Okay, 15 of all things for the first 6 element biomes in this biome, or element biotica. This is aquatic. When you unlock it with sulfur. Sulfur is great. Sulfur is a legitimately excellent one. Fool's Gold generates extra mystery. That's pretty good. And, okay, the rattan, which we've seen. Celestine. Okay, big bonus for all the micro on the planet. This one feels like it gets to a very, very high value indeed. It unlocks with methane, which can produce up to 200 additional science while also appearing barren. Pretty fantastic. So a point of science for every point of resource in legacy plants in this slot. That is an interesting one that's kind of hard to build for. Just keep in mind, I believe you can't apply an upgrade charge to legacy slots that are already at top level. So you need to be generating 200 points worth of legacy from level 1 and 2 plants. It's not undoable, but it's weird for sure. Alright, an undergrowth flower that is tagged flower again for each micro in this bioticum, and it has Microhaven X2. The rewards that say they gain multiple copies of a tag they already have, um, sadly feel a little bit less exciting to me than I want them to, because it feels like there are so many things that count biotica that have tags and way fewer things that just count the number of times a tag appears. Alright, so you like to be placed in water, you like to be surrounded by water. It's kind of a weird 2-star, it's kind of a weird Apex Bioticum. Doesn't feel like it's... Yeah, I don't know, it scales fine, I guess. It's just weird. Turtle grass is always fun. Bog iron, nice to have around. And the snail kite, of course. At least 4 critter biotica on the planet. Listen, I just want to be able to hunt somewhere. Pretty good for a predator bird, which are both valuable tags, that has 30 raw points of resources on it and also a threat, as long as you're meeting its symbiosis. That seems quite compelling. Alright, we've unlocked the Ranger Spirit and a new medieval era, and the ability to level up again at 778, and this'll max us out. This will get us the other new spirit and the other new era. And it seems like we still have a lot to see here. We did unlock a lot of... Let me see here. As far as biotica go, did we unlock everything that goes in the wetlands yet? No. They're actually still there's quite a few. Is that a shoebill? Oh, that might be a shoebill. Also, that looks like a dinosaur. That looks like actually just a straight up dinosaur. These are all compelling. There's all compelling possibilities. So it makes sense. Yeah, wetlands shoebill would be a oh man. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see that. Okay. Anyway, sorry, the episode's like a million years long already. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, I think we're gonna dip our feet back into the wetlands, and I think I'm gonna take the ocean alongside, because I want to see a little bit more of that interplay with the water slot stuff. So, yeah, come back next time for Waterworld, and we'll see you then.